Okay, what is up guys? So I'm going to keep this as quick as possible. I'm just going to show you a basic tutorial of how to use MyFitnessPal. So today I've got my phone with me, so I'm going to be doing this as I'm recording this. So first of all, you just want to open up the MyFitnessPal app on your phone and go straight to the dashboard. Once you're at that dashboard, you'll see it gives you a calorie number. So for me, it's giving me 2,000 calories, and that is my calorie deficit. You can also see that it's got my step count on there and my exercise. So one of the first things we want to do is make sure that that does not interfere with our calorie deficit number. And that just helps us out for a whole host of reasons, but it's just to stop you being confused. So the way we disable that is we go down to more, which is in the bottom right of the tab, and then you want to scroll down until you find steps. Once you're at steps, all you want to do is tap on that and then select the option do not track steps. So I'm going to hit that there, and then I can come straight back out. So now that has disabled any interference with my daily calorie goal, which is super important. The next thing you want to do is go to your diary. So your diary is located down that bottom tab. It's the second one in from the dashboard. Once you're on the diary, you can see my calorie goal at the top. You can also see, if you scroll down, the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack options, okay? So we're gonna add an item for breakfast. We're gonna try and add porridge. So I've gone onto this, I've hit add food on breakfast, and I'm greeted with a search bar and also a whole host of different things that I've eaten in the past, so a history. Now, I can find porridge in that history, but rather than scrolling through this long list that I don't want to trawl through, I'm just going to go up to the search bar and start typing the word porridge. And already it's filtered these options to just 4 now. So I've got 4 options to choose from. What I'm actually going to do though is find a brand new one. So let's type the rest of this in. So I'll type porridge oats, and I'm also going to type in the manufacturer or the place I bought it, which is going to help me really get some accurate data. So that's what I want you guys to do, is be as accurate as possible when you're recording. So I've searched for porridge oats from Sainsbury's. Now what I want to do, ideally, I want to go for the ones that have the green tick on, because it just means it's credible and it's been used by a lot of people, and it's probably the most accurate that you want. So I click on that, and I can see I'm greeted with my serving size, number of servings, and what meal I'm adding it into. Now the 2 things you want to really look for here are the serving size and the ability to change your serving size to just 1 gram. Because already here it's got 50 grams. Now I don't want 50 grams. That's 315 calories. It's just too much for the meal that I'm trying to create. So if I tap on that 50, amazing. It's got the option for me to change it to 1 gram. That's your ideal. Whenever you're looking for food, you want to make sure that that is an option that you can find, the ability to change it to 1 gram. And then you go down to the number of servings and you type the actual amount that you're having. So say I've got my bowl there, I'm pouring my porridge in, it's on my scales, I'm having 40 grams. This is me changing the porridge to that exact amount that I'm having. So I've got 40 grams in there, I'm going to hit the tick, and now it has saved it. So if I come back out of breakfast, you can see it's now saved the porridge oats to my diary. And in the top right, you can see that the number remaining of my calories to consume for that day has now dropped down to 1,748. Wicked. If we want to look at a bit more of the nutritional data on that porridge item, all I have to do is click on that item, and I'm greeted with that screen again. So it's got my macronutrient breakdown, and it's telling me here how much of each macronutrient I have for that serving. So you can see I get 12 grams of protein, 6.6 of fat, and 34 carbs. So this is all really important information. And I obviously get 252 calories. So that's me adding that to my diary. Awesome. I also want to add the other ingredients that I'm having. So I'm using milk. You can see again, I type in the word milk and it gives me all the previous milk items that I've had. I'm actually using Long Life oat milk from Asda, so I'll go ahead and just tap on that. Now when you're tapping on that, just be sure not to just go ahead and hit the plus button, because it's very easy to do that, which will just add it straight away. If you're changing the amount, you want to hit on the item itself and then change the amount to what you're having. So what it's got here is 120 milliliters. I actually had 150. So I'm going to change this to 1.5 because you can see the serving size is already set to 100 ml. I could go up there and change it to 1 ml and do 150. That also works, but just make sure it doesn't change it too much. So let's go back again. 100 ml. I'm going to select 100 ml and then I'm going to put 1.5 in there. 58 calories. So it's exactly the same. They're both 58 calories, so I know it's accurate. Then I want to hit that tick button and save it to my diary. Again, I come back out of this. I can see now for my breakfast, it's got 2 items added. So that's basically how you add items to your diary. The other thing I want to show you is your weekly fat loss goal. Now, it can be very easy to just choose the highest rate of weight loss, which I think is about 1 kilogram a week. Now that is a very unrealistic amount of weight loss to lose during a week. That would be consuming something stupid like 1,000 calories, which is almost no food. So you want to make sure that you're setting it to a more moderate rate of weight loss. The way we do that is if you go back to more in the bottom right and then go to your goals, you can see there's a bunch of options here. So I've already got it set to lose 0.5 kilogram per week, which is a much more, which is a slower rate of weight loss, but a sustainable rate. Now, if yours is set to anything more than that, you want to change it. The way we change it, you tap on, it says, are you sure you want to change it? Yeah, of course I do. And then you're greeted with a list of rates of weight loss. So you could choose any of these, but I would go primarily for the 0.2 or 0.5. This isn't super important because your calorie goals will already be set by me, but to make sure that the app is in line with the coaching that I'm giving you, let's set it at 0.5 because that'll be somewhere around the calories that I would give you. Again, if your goal is not weight loss, then you don't have to really think about this bit. But if your goal is weight loss, this is super important. So I've got 0.5 kilograms per week of weight loss. Amazing, that's already sorted for me. Then what we want to do is change your ratios. So this is your ratios of carbs, fats and proteins. The way we do that is we stay on this goal screen and then you click on the calories, carbs, protein and fat goal. Once you go on there, you can see those ratios. You always want to keep the protein at 30. You want to set your carbs at 40 and your fats at 30. Now, you could change this in a load of different ways depending on your goal, but ultimately, more often than not, you try and keep the protein the same, and it's usually the fats or the carbs that you would change. I'm not going to go into the details of why and what that's for now. I'm just going to show you the ratios. So again, just to remind you, you want 40% of your intake coming from carbs, 30% from your protein, and then again 30% for your fat. Cool, so we'll come back out of this now. Now we've pretty much set every single thing up. The last 2 things I need to show you are how to create a recipe and some of the little nuances around tracking dried and cooked foods. Okay, so next, after we've created that recipe, we're going to create or add some pasta to it. So let's hit add food, and this is the pasta that we're going to choose from. So fusilli from Sainsbury's again. Now, when I look at the back of this packet, it tells me that it's measured in its cooked weight. So it says 100 grams of cooked is 178 calories. And it's saying also here, per serving, 198 grams, and that comes to 352 calories. Right at the bottom as well, it also says 100 grams of uncooked pasta is approximately 198 grams of cooked pasta. So that serving size there of 198 grams comes to 352. So what I'm probably looking for here is something on the database that's around 352. So let's look this up. Fusilli pasta, Sainsbury's. And the first one at the top is actually 362, so near enough the same. Now, I just want to be sure here. I'm going to scroll down and look at some others. So 160 calories for 100 grams. 160. So remember on the packet it said for 100 grams of cooked, it was 178. So again, that's pretty close to the 160. So I would imagine that 161 is measured in a cooked weight, 100 grams of cooked pasta. And then this one at the top here, which is 362, is 100 grams uncooked. So what I'd probably do here is I'd go for this top one, 362 for 100 grams, because I know that 100 grams is going to be the uncooked amount. So what I would do, I would weigh out my pasta into a bowl. I'd weigh out 100 grams, and I know that that is 362. Now, if you're doing a whole bunch of pasta to then do a meal prep, what I would probably do is weigh it once as it's dry. So say you're doing 400 grams of dry pasta. Obviously weigh that all out. You'd click on this fusilli pasta at the top, and then you'd change the number of servings to 4. And that would be part of your recipe. I wouldn't add it now as a separate thing. I would add it in the recipe. What I would probably do for this situation is do my pasta to go. So I've made my sauce ready, but every day I'm going to cook pasta fresh because it takes 10 minutes on the hob. So I'm going to choose to do 1 serving of 100 grams dry weight. Click the tick there, and that's all logged. So now I know that for that dish, for lunch, my tomato pasta and my fusilli pasta itself combined to be about 453 calories, okay? So it can get a little confusing, but it's all dependent on how you're doing it. Again, I've done this based on me cooking the pasta the day of me eating that portion, okay? If you're cooking bulk pasta, weigh it in its dried form, and then obviously when you weigh it out in its wet form, divide the total into 4. Again, it can get a little confusing, but just run through it a few times in your head and it will make sense. But that is pretty much how you do it, okay? So it's just about being vigilant. It's just about using your common sense. And the first few times, yeah, you might have to read it a few times, but after that, it becomes pretty easy to gauge what is in food, okay? I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you found it useful.